Hi guys, thanks for joining me. It's Dr. Sarah on my Break Free Medicine channel, and today is the final conclusion in my series on integrative medicine for psychiatric disorders. Now, previous posts and videos, including highlights of my most recent reviews on clinically validated essential oils to support mental health, can be accessed in the links provided in the notes to this video. So make sure that you check those out. Now, the psychological benefits of oils have been verified in many human and experimental trials. Beyond their aromatic influence of soothing the mind and uplifting the mood, their physical constituents help to balance hormones, mitigate the stress response, and to enhance overall body resiliency. Now, various studies have also validated the actions of essential oils on memory enhancement, attention, focus, and cognition beyond their aroma. Now, we know that certain aromas can also be associated with certain memories, and this is just through the sense of smell alone. But essential oils have the added benefit of the mechanism of actions of their hundreds of different compounds that exert simultaneous and multiple effects on various biochemical pathways in the body. And these constituents' influence at the various cellular level has also been linked to their outcomes in humans and their potential for preserving brain and optimizing its function. So, for these reasons, I have stated in my most recent video, and I'm going to say it here again, that the neuroprotective and anti-aging properties of essential oils that have been studied through their mechanisms and then correlating it to the memory enhancement in clinical trials is convincing evidence to say that these might have been one of the most ancient nootropics that we have, which are aka known as a cool world today as smart drugs. So now let's get to a few other essential oils. I've already explored sage and lavender in detail, and I've went over jasmine briefly in the past video. But what about bergamot oil? Now, bergamot belongs to the Rutaceae family, which is the rue family, and it's defined as a hybrid of a bitter orange and lemon. It has many therapeutic properties. Mostly in vitro and in vivo studies have concluded that this essential oil is antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, anti-proliferative. That means it won't create excess cell division in unwanted places, tumor growth, right? Neuropharmacological, so affecting the nervous system and neurotransmitters, analgesic, pain relieving, wound and skin health, and cardiovascular toning. But beyond these biochemical attributes in rodents and petri dishes, bergamot essential oil has impressive studies to benefit the psychology and neurology of Homo sapiens. In one small pilot study with mental health patients where they actually diffused bergamot essential oil, it was reported to have an overall positive effect for improving mood while they were in the waiting area, which can be kind of stressful, especially with mental health issues. In a more extensive review on bergamot essential oil, there were several studies that were highlighted that provided evidence for a few of its brain-promoting properties. The authors determined that as a whole, these studies were overall positive for bergamot essential oil for reducing stress, calming cardiovascular excitement, improving nervous system tone, and alleviating anxiety. Now, there's a table that I provided in the accompanying links to this video that you can look at that goes through all the different studies and the randomized trials and pilot studies on bergamot essential oil. And I also have a quick little excerpt from the abstract of the article available for you as well if you want to read the details. Now, bergamot essential oil isn't the only citrus oil on the block that enhances well-being and brain functioning. Orange oil is another popular essential oil to help with emotional distress, especially used for children. And in one study, it even showed that it calmed moms to be in labor. That's stressful. Another study examined the mechanism of orange oil's calming effect and reported that it decreased the activity in the right prefrontal cortex. Now, this is the part of the brain that's actually more active when someone is depressed. So actually decreasing that activity will actually elevate the mood. Now, remember that citrus oils can be phototoxic, aka it's not good on your skin. You're going to look a little bit uneven in your skin tone if you apply it, lather it on, and go out for fun in the sun, so don't do that. Do it the night before if you're going to use it at low doses. And I did a whole blog on phytotoxicity and essential oils. You can also access that on the links in the video notes. Now, rosemary, one of oils for memory that should not be overlooked. It's probably one of the most famous along with sage oil, and I've gone into mega detail in a previous post and article. Again, it's linked in the video notes. But I found another study to add to my collection, and it was a small study with 35 subjects, and they were tested to determine the effect of rosemary on human autonomic parameters. Now, these are things such as blood pressure, breathing rate, pulse rate, skin temperature, and correlating that with the emotional response with topical application of jasmine. And what the authors concluded of this study is that at the emotional level, subjects felt more attentive, they were more alert, and more vigorous, and more cheerful. And this was better after they applied the oil. And they found that this suggests that jasmine or rosemary can be helpful for arousal and stimulating effects that provide use for things such as depression and stress in humans. So remember, rosemary isn't just good for memory. It can also help with depression and stress due to its stimulating properties. Now, if depression and anxiety are an issue, you might want to go with something like lavender. Jasmine. The Epilepsy Society of UK lists certain essential oils implicated for their anti-seizure effect, as well as those that have stimulating properties. So we're moving on to this jasmine essential oil, which is really an absolute. But one of the oils that the Epilepsy Society listed is, of course, jasmine for seizures. And it was according to research that was carried out at the University of Birmingham Seizure Clinic that actually inhaling this essential oil had stopped seizures in some of the subjects. I'm aware of a small trial that was published in the Journal of Health Research that had about 20 subjects, and they found that inhalation of jasmine caused an increase in beta wave power, which is helping with alertness in the anterior and left posterior region of the brain. It was measured on an EEG, and then with these correlations, the subjects reported greater feelings of well-being. They were less drowsy when inhaling jasmine as compared to resting and control conditions, which used almond oil. So basically, this essential oil was able to produce, kind of wake up the brain, but also not overstimulate it at the same time. So these two trials added to some very convincing evidence that jasmine not only has psychological properties, but also functional modulation of brain activity. That's pretty cool. So what are some major takeaways if we take in all of what I've been exploring in these series on essential oils for psychiatric and mental health? Well, let me break it down to you by essential oil, because that'll be fun. Sage oil was the most highlighted for memory, but now we know that rosemary is not far behind. For calming and mood, we want to think of things such as lavender, orange, and bergamot. These are the top contenders. They also provide some impressive neurological toning abilities, which we saw in how they modulate these autonomic parameters when they study blood pressure and pulse rate and heart rate variability. And then for balancing mood and calming the electrical activity of the brain, you want to think of something like jasmine. And what's the best way to use these essential oils? Through your nose. Inhalation, one of the fastest ways to get essential oils into your system and help calm the mood. That means you can sniff it right from the bottle. You can take a drop, put it in some carrier oil. Usually it's about 1 drop to 1 teaspoon if you're looking for a percent dilution of essential oils. And you can also diffuse about 5 to 8 drops in your atomizer diffuser, because atomizer diffusers are the bomb. They're the best. They actually help preserve the therapeutic properties of the essential oil and make sure that the molecules are dispersed more evenly into the air. I went kind of fast because I have to head out, but I wanted to make sure I got a video to you guys this week to wrap things up. So I hope you've enjoyed this series. I will be back, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day or evening, whenever you're listening to this. Thanks for being here. Take care.